Hi and welcome back. In this video, I am going to show another video of Ren talking about Hi Ren. So this is a video of me talking about Ren talking about Hi Ren. I hope that's not too confusing. And I'm going to get all act on your asses today. Ren is currently my poster boy for acceptance at the moment because he's been able to move forward with his life despite experiencing such adversity. And loads of people have commented on my other Ren reaction videos that this idea of acceptance confuses them, or it doesn't make any sense, or they just don't agree that Ren is showing acceptance. So I wanted to show this video as he explicitly talks about acceptance and his relationship with acceptance. Let's get into this.
So that part, if you want to explain my sort of thought process behind that, was that when I first got ill, I remember saying to my mum, and this is going to get a little bit heavy for a second, so bear with me and forgive me. But I remember saying to her, I was like, if I'm ill for another year, this is like right in the first year, I was like, I'm letting you know, I don't think that I can do it. And I was like, I'm really sorry about it, I just can't. And then a year passed and I was even more sick. And then another year passed and I was even more sick and I was even in more pain. And that progressed on for the next 8-9 years of my life. And it just got worse and worse. And it wasn't that it became any easier to deal with. It was because I eventually came to accept that I had to live in a body that was full of pain. And that made it a lot easier, because the more I resisted, like the more that I fought against that fact, the more I was like bitter about it and angry about it, like the more I was like, why the fuck is it me? Why is it my body that hurts? Like why my friends get to go and live normal happy lives and go and get to experience all the things that someone in their early 20s gets to experience. I was really bitter about that at the start because I missed a lot of birthdays. I missed a lot of New Year's, just lying in bed. And it wasn't until I learned to accept that. It was just the cards that I've been dealt. This isn't why I don't speak about it publicly very much. Oh, give me a second.
Just heartbreaking, isn't it? It's heartbreaking to see another human being upset and experiencing this kind of emotion. And you just want to help, don't you, somehow? Just do something. And you've probably noticed that I talk a lot about acceptance on my channel and how being willing to experience and feel emotions and to have unpleasant thoughts and maybe memories and images can be really helpful. And Ren is talking about acceptance here. And he's not only talking about it, he's demonstrating it in this video. Where he gets upset here, you know, that perfectly normal human reaction when talking about everything he has been through and all the things he has missed in his 20s. He could just avoid this conversation. He could avoid this hurt and pain and being reminded of it. But that would take him away from his valued direction of sharing his message. So he takes a minute. He makes some room for this emotion. He's willing to experience it in this moment, and then he chooses to carry on.
It wasn't until I stopped resisting that fact that life became enjoyable. And I know that I'm crying right now, but I'm genuinely, for the most part, very happy. even though I still put up with a lot of symptoms. And I am. It might be hard to convince you right now, but I am. I'm very happy in life, and I feel very fulfilled, and I feel like I'm doing things that I would have dreamt of years ago. So yeah, I think that's what sentiment I was trying to get across, basically. That it wasn't until I was just like, stop fighting against my demons and stop fighting against the pain and stop saying why me, that I got a lot better. And I just was like, well, you know what, like, could be a lot worse. And also as well, like, so what, like, let's make the most of these limitations that I've got, or let's use these limitations that I've got and turn it into something else, and try and alchemize it into something more productive. And that's why I feel very lucky to be in the creative industry, because I wouldn't be able to do that in an office job. So I feel very blessed, and I feel very blessed to have you guys supporting me as well, because without that I wouldn't be able to do that. And so yeah.
How many ways can you describe acceptance in such a short piece of time? Listen to the words he's using, and to me they all indicate acceptance. I stopped resisting. I stopped fighting against the demons. I stopped fighting against the pain. I stopped asking why me. Let's make the most of these limitations that I have got. And all of this led to him feeling more fulfilled. And that indicates that he's been carrying out actions in line with what he wants to stand for in life and the type of person he wants to be seen as. It's really helped him to move forward. And I think he does raise an important point here. It is quite contextual in day-to-day real life. And I do agree with him that he is in an area, performing arts, that maybe has a little more flexibility within it compared to something like an office job. That shouldn't stand in the way of still being able to move forward, even if it's just small steps, because small steps over time can lead to big changes.
I feel lucky, and maybe it's for a purpose. I don't think I'd have ever made the music that I did if I hadn't lived these experiences. It would be very different. I think I'd still be making music, because before I got ill, I was lined up to do some pretty cool things with like Sony, and I was on a good path. But I don't think I'd have written a song like this. I obviously wouldn't have written a song like this. I wouldn't have written a song like Violet's Tale. I wouldn't have made that kind of music. So even though it doesn't sit in the sphere of like mainstream music, I'm very proud of it, because I think it even though it taps into like a darker side of the human psyche, I feel proud of myself for what I've achieved. Yeah. But yeah, and I'm gonna run off in a second because my food's probably ready by now.
Again, he's talking about being able to draw upon his experience and making music that fits with that. It's that value of creating and sharing a message coming up again. And he feels proud of himself, and so he should. But that feeling proud is an intrinsic motivator for him to keep going and doing what he is doing. It's an internal feeling that says, hey, you're doing the right thing here, Ren. Let's do more of that. And when he is in his darkest, most painful days, he can draw upon that to maybe just get that spark lit again when he needs it. And he's talking about food being prepared here for him, not because he's some kind of diva and will only perform if he is given 1,000 brown M&Ms to fill a brandy glass. Comment if you get the reference. But it's because of his mast cell activation syndrome, which requires very special attention to what food he eats without there being an inflammatory response.
But yeah, thanks for joining me on the chat and letting me kind of talk a bit more about what this song meant to me. I just wanted to go into the very last line, because I think that's my favourite line in the whole thing. It's what separates human beings from angels and from demons and from gods. And like, while I'm not, like I said this earlier, while I'm not necessarily like religious in the sense that I say I'm a Christian, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a Muslim, I like humans' explanations for the divine a lot. I love the stories. And what I meant by we must remember that we are human beings is that we're not evil and we're not good. We're not either of those things. We are something that is a mismatch of everything. And we've got to embrace our own imperfections. And we've got to remind ourselves that if we're hurting, it's just part of the human experience, and better days will come too, even in amongst that pain. And whereas when we look at a demon, we see evil, whereas we look at an angel, we see good. When we look at a god, we see powerful. We're all of those things, man. We're demons and angels and gods mixed into some imperfect creature that ended up on this floating rock in space. And that's why I like that line. Anyway, I'm gonna go and have some food. And thank you guys very much for joining me on this stream.
We must remember that we are human beings. We are not evil. We are not good. We have to embrace our own imperfections. And if we are hurting, it is part of the human experience, and better days will come too, even in amongst that pain. I'm so glad Ren has picked up on this. Sometimes we refer to this as the human condition. We are going to experience the full range of human emotions, and we need to find some way to be able to do that and still move forward with our lives in a meaningful way. And in ACT, this is what we call psychological flexibility. That's the purpose of ACT.
I hope, because it's my first stream by myself, I hope that you were sufficiently entertained. Doing this builds my confidence to do more of these sorts of things in future. So thank you for sharing this time with me and letting me talk about this stream. It means a lot. I'm certainly gonna go and enjoy my food, and I'm enjoying my release day, man. Like I said before, guys, I'm doing it all independently. So if you guys have any ideas on how to share this as much as possible, bother everybody you can with it. It would really help me, because it just helps it get seen out in the public eye a little bit more, and helps make this dream even more of reality, because then I got more resources to make even more ambitious projects. So that would mean a lot. Thank you guys. I hope you have a blessed night. I hope you all sleep really well, and I hope you enjoyed Hi Ren, and I cannot wait for you to see what's coming up next, because it's cool. And the album name is Sick Boy that I'm releasing, and that's going to be dropping at some point very soon. I love you guys. See you later.
You heard Ren. Go forth and share his message. And I'm so excited for the album Sick Boy to come out. I love Ren so much. He articulates what I'm trying to say to people in such a relatable way. He demonstrates and embodies what I would call psychological flexibility so well without using those sort of psychological terms. And I absolutely love that. And I can understand the resistance that people have to this idea of acceptance. You know, I didn't get it at first, and I struggled with trying to experience it too. It seems like a bit of a paradox that in order to try to manage emotions, you need to find acceptance that emotions can't always be managed. You know, to try and reduce the impact unpleasant thoughts and emotions have on you, you have to be able to accept those unpleasant thoughts and emotions. And on paper, that doesn't make any sense. And I think there's also a bit of a problem with the word acceptance here. Acceptance isn't about tolerating or putting up with something or feeling like you have to give up and accept how rubbish everything is. A better word would maybe be willingness. Willingness is about being willing to experience what you are experiencing without fighting it, without trying to push it away, and to purposely try and get rid of it. And in ACT, we ask, is what you are currently doing helping? Is struggling with emotions, is pushing thoughts and feelings away? Are the emotional control strategies you are using working for you in the long term? They may work in the very short term, but are they working in the long term? And I've got a whole separate video about emotional control strategies that you can check out if you want to know a bit more about this. And when we get better at experiencing emotions instead of trying to get rid of them, it gives us a bit of space to choose to do something that is more related to our values. Now, this isn't easy, not at all. It probably sounds like I'm just sitting here saying, all you have to do is accept this. All you have to do is just accept. I'm not saying that at all. It's really, really difficult. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes practice. It can bring a lot of pain with it that we naturally want to avoid. But in the long term, I think it can be massively helpful for people, such as it was for Ren. And let's just take a moment here that Ren had a very, very short period of time there. It was, about 8 minutes. And he could have talked about how he was mistreated by the healthcare system. He could have talked more about, all the things that went wrong in his journey to find out what was going on for him. But he didn't. Instead, he took the time to share what helped. What was helpful for him, what worked for him. He shared that with us. And that's just an amazing message to share, I think. That's why I love Ren so much. I hope you like this little discussion of what Ren had to say about Hi Ren. If you have any experience of acceptance yourself, then please share in the comments, as that might be really helpful to someone today who needs to hear it. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.